From the left column, total computers produced. And the following cell became total produced 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Okay, so, which actually works well for us because those are the names of our computers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But anyway, it is a quick way. I don't care if you ever use that tool to name cells or not, really don't, but I just wanted to show you that. But here's the output. Let's look at the output for a minute. Computer 1s must be pretty good. We always make them to, I think, their fullest amount that you can make. We never make computer 2s. We always make as many as we can of 6s. Some of these others are kind of interesting. As we get more assembly time, we begin to make Model 3s to a point, well, to the max. We make 4s increase, 7s decrease, uninteresting. We never make 8s. Okay, that's all interesting. Profit, if you look at profit, it is, as you would expect, as you had more assembly hours, because remember, all of these are profitable. Okay, so none of these are losing money. So if you can make more of them, you'll make more money, right? If they're all profitable. So we are. We're making more money, we're making more money, we're making more money to there. And then we are not making any more money. Okay? Because what? What was that?
You hit a constraint.
Some constraint. What do you figure it is? Or one of a couple of possible things it probably is. But
Maximum sales.
well, it's actually not maximum sales, only because you know that because you're doing 0 of these. That's the only way I know that is because those are zeros. The labor for testing on 1 or 2, or both, I don't know. But I know I've run up against something. I know when I see this, I know I've run up against some other constraint. And it's obviously not the assembly hours. I got to the point where, and that's why I shifted it to go past 25,000 because then we could see this. It's one of the other two. I don't know which one, maybe both. Okay, but it's something else is stopping it. Certainly, we can go back and we can play around with it more and we could find that out for sure if we really wanted to know. But we can at least see those sorts of things. I don't think that they did this solver table in this problem. I think that's just something we tacked on to the PowerPoint. But this problem in itself is more realistically, okay, it's not maybe realistic, but it's a better size and more like something you would see on a test question because the first one, the t-shirt one, tiny problem. The point in that problem was to learn about mostly solver table, really, okay? So to learn about solver table. The simulation kit one is a little unconventional. This is a little more conventional. Studying all 3 of them is great. And the way you should study is to, go back and pull these up and do them from scratch. So I've had some questions about the things I put out there as the homework/practice problems. I did put a data table question out there, just a real quick, do this, if you do this, and this is easy for you with no looking at solutions or instructions or anything else, then you're good. You know how to do data tables. Well, I think it's a 2-way data table. Try both. Make sure you know how to do both. The references to problems in the book is the same number in the 4th edition and the 5th edition. I cannot post the solutions to those. Not allowed to post the solutions to those problems. Some of them are taking like a problem in the book that they already set up for you and just expanding it out. Some of them would require you just to build it from scratch. Other ones, there are shells available for a couple of the problems in chapter 3, I think. And you can go to where it says, I got it on Blackboard, a link to get to the shells, the example shells and the homework shells, okay? They don't put a lot of them out there. If they don't, again, I can't put them out there. Okay, I can only put what they give you, what they allow us to put out there for you. So the moral to that story is, if you want to use those as practice, you have to do them early enough that you can sit down with an IA to see if you're on the right track and see if you're doing the right thing. If you aren't able to do them early enough to do that, that's not going to help you a whole lot because you're not going to know whether you did it right or not. But on a positive note, if you can do everything we did in class, as well as look at some examples from textbook, which sometimes we do ones in class that are from the textbook. But if you can do everything we do in class, like I'm talking, bring them up from scratch and do them without looking at the solution file, because that's the only way you really test yourself. That's the only way you know if you know how to do it. And you can do all of them really well, you'll still be very well prepared. So you'll be in good shape. So it's not that you have to have those problems. I'd like to have more, because some people want to do more, but they're only useful to you if you try them soon enough to be able to check, to be able to go in and see somebody. Because again, I wouldn't be able to send you the solution file. You'd actually have to go check. Yes.
Do you have the review for exam 1?
I had it out there. Is it not out there?
Yeah,
It is? Yeah. The review is basically just telling you that there's 5 problems.
like review
and-
question, but
Okay, that's the homework practice problems that I'm talking about. And I have a data table question, but the others are references to book questions. But the ones we do in class are great examples. Great examples. You pull them up, you pull up the start file, you try as best you can to do them without looking at the solutions, and the more you can do that, and the more you repeatedly do it, like keep practicing, the more prepared you are. People who just practice a ton will be in and out of that test pretty quickly. Yeah.
Are you going to ask us, or
No, yeah.
are you going to ask us to generate like a model ourselves, or is it
No,
going
there'll
to
be
have?
shells.
There will be
There
shells.
will be shells.
Okay.
Yeah, these all have shells. And I normally would only have 4 questions on this test, but because we push data tables to this test, I cut back a little on some of the other questions so that they're not too long or anything, but yeah.
It's going to be expected to calculate like something equal to all the
Yes, you actually might be asked to put in, okay, blue cells will always be shaded so that you know that they're input. If they're in there anyway already, you know they were. But anyway, blue cells will always be shaded. You could be asked to put in the logical sign, that less than, greater than, kind of thing. You could be asked to shade changing cells, maybe objective cells for sure. You can be asked to do some shading, some logical operators, and then of course the formulas that need to be in there.
So like where we did our unit margin 1.
Yes. So when you're asking, do you have to be able to put something like this in? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do want you, seriously, don't want you to type that 16 times. I want you to know relative and absolute addressing. It's super important. So that is a part of your points. If you don't know relative and absolute addressing and you type it in 16 times, you'll still get, points. You're just going to miss a little bit, because I do expect you to use relative and absolute addressing on things so that, you're making your life simpler. Okay. Okay, well, Thursday is a review, and I will go quickly over what you need to know, but I'm leaving that time for you to ask questions. So you really need to look at it before Thursday so you know what you need to ask questions about. Otherwise, you have questions, and you have them right now.
I want to ask, one of the students asked, when is it going to be, when is the right?
5:30 today. Yeah.
And where are the questions where we know what the question answers, what the, like, where do you get the slides? I know you bring these slides and
For these class ones,